Hey y'all. I had a question from someone about over the top bows. So I got out some of my recent ones to kind of talk about it a little bit, and then we're gonna make one. So I'll try to make not too much talking. Alright, basically over the top does not have to be expensive. It can be. Like this one I made for my daughter has a lot of goodies, but it's my daughter and she's crazy about it, so it's worth it. But to try to sell it is probably going to be like a $20 bow, which nobody wants to buy that. So, you know, it just depends on what you're making it for. But you can be as cheap as it is or as expensive as you want to be. This one, the only thing it has over the top is tulle. And it's very inexpensive, and it doesn't take but a couple of inches. So, you know, but it still makes a difference. Like this bow is different colors, but it's made the exact same way, except it doesn't have the spikes and the over-the-top stuff. So it just makes a little oomph onto the bow. And it's a lot of fun to do those. You know, again, it can be simpler or kind of complicated. This one, I just put a couple of flowers. It's not even really beyond the spikes. It was just a little bit of extra. So it makes your bow stand out and be unique. And that's one of my things on these. I like every bow to be special and different. Even if I'm using the same ribbon. Like all of these are the same ribbons. But they're all a little bit different. So it's nothing creative if you make the same thing all the time. But it has to be sort of similar so you can price it and stuff. But that's where having the things to add to it. This one I just added some flowers and a little vinyl bow. Just to make it different. Anyway, this one is a little more simple too, which is kind of the type we're going to do today. And it's a little bit smaller too, which is better for Sonya. This one is huge, but my daughter's 10. And again, it's just her personality. Okay, I'm going to pause it and get everything ready, and we'll come back and actually make it. Well, if I can. Okay, I decided, well, these I ordered on Etsy, these buttons and bottle caps. So I don't have two of the exact same ones, which I don't want to anyway. It's my style. So I decided I'm going to do this one, which is more black on it than the other bow. But I'm just going to put one together just to show you how I did it. I already did this one so it's dry so we can make it right away. I just got these little felt circles. You can use these from a lot of places. I think I got these from Hair Bow Center. I cut my own for a lot of things, but I like these because they're thinner than the felt you buy in the store. And just glue it so that it holds it real secure. And glue one on the back. I'm not actually going to do that though, just to save time. Alright, ribbon I'm going to cut. And then we'll talk about the measurements because it's faster. Alright, you get out of the way. For the center bow, it is going to be a little bit bigger because when you have the smaller ones, and then you have these extra big bottle caps, there's just not much of the ribbon left. And since this ribbon is kind of the main ribbon I want to show, I want it to be a little bit bigger so you can actually see the pattern. So this is going to be 22 inches. And the backing ribbon is going to be black with white polka dots. Same measurement. Alright. I'll keep this because I'll need it for spikes. It doesn't have to be real exact. I don't spend a whole lot of time worrying about measurements. I mean, you need to have an idea, especially to sell them so you know how much ribbon it has, but it's not a real exact science to me. There's nothing real creative about that. I just have an idea, so I kind of know where to go. Alright. I know people that heat seal these. I want to make sure the ends are even and heat seal. I know people that heat seal these together, and that looks like it works really good. But I'm a Butterfingers, and I swear every time I do that, I end up with a lump in the bow somewhere. So I don't. It may just be because I don't make a whole lot of these. With the two sides. But this ribbon, you can see the back of the pattern through. If it was like a solid pink and you couldn't see it, I probably wouldn't even put a backing ribbon on it. Just to save. It makes it a little bit cheaper. And it doesn't show a whole lot. But when it's like that, you kind of have to. So I still heat seal them and tape them. I'm not an expert on any means. I just really like doing this. And my girls are getting bigger and don't wear as much as they used to. So it's a good thing other people like them. Okay, I'm going to tape them together. I usually have one that you run across, and when I went to Walmart, they were out of stock last time. It's actually easier than this. But I like having this. This is from Hairball Center. Because it's always here, and I never don't have any. The other one will run out, and I don't realize it sometimes, so... Just try to get a basic idea about how long it is. I am sorry about my voice. It's early in the morning, but kids are home, so it's going to be a quiet time to do this. Otherwise, there'll probably be a movie playing. Whatever. The cats are up, and they're crazy, though, this morning already. Knock over one of my boxes of ribbon scared me half to death. Anyway, just lay it down, and, said if you're more talented than me, you can skip this step. But you probably wouldn't be watching my video anyway. I am a total Butterfingers, so I have to do some stuff like a beginner, pure beginner, just because I can't make it work for me. And then some stuff I kind of cheat, and it may not be the official thing. But you know what? It makes a pretty bow when it stays together, and it works for me. So that's all I'm worried about. I'm not trying to be famous or anything like that. But I originally started doing these videos for my cousin that lives in another state that is trying to learn how to make stuff. But I've had, along the way of joining groups and stuff, I've met some other bow makers, and so it's kind of for that too. I guess this isn't really a beginner video. So. See, I'm a Butterfingers even doing this. Luckily, this is repositioning. I can't even talk this morning. Luckily, this can be repositioned. So. Okay, and I usually have to trim it up a little bit so that they're exactly even. It doesn't matter. When you twist the bow, only one corner of it will show. The other corner won't. So, but it's just for me and my sense of it's done right, I guess. You have to make sure all the lumps and bumps are out. Just my liner. I don't know where that string even came from. I didn't cut it right there. See, it's a little bit crooked. It doesn't matter a whole lot. It's just me and my personality. Unless it's going to show in the final bow, it's fine. I just heat seal it again because I'm paranoid. I don't do that for everything. The center bow is like, you know, the centerpiece of what you're making. So it's sort of important. Alright. I fold about, I don't know, is that an inch? Over on either side. And with the two layers, this is a little bit harder. You have a better, it's easier to fold on the single layers. But sometimes you need it because of the ribbon. I don't have an exact measurement for that. And I heat seal it just because it holds your crease. I mean, you can iron it or whatever, but it helps keep your crease. And they're not exactly the same, and it really doesn't matter. Okay, now that's going to be the top. Instead of measuring the whole ribbon exactly in half, and then the half point matters. Okay. And then you take, I don't know if I can show this, where the center crease is, and where the crease on the end is, and that's what you X. turn the bow and exit. And then the opposite way, so that it sort of is like a Mobius strip. Figure 8 sort of thing. Ribbon like this that has a top and a bottom, I don't know why. Half the time I do it upside down, so I'll have to double check it, make sure it's right. But the loop goes over right about in the center of your creases, and this one goes over just a little bit more. I'm going to turn it over. And I actually did that one right the first time. Yay me. And okay, that's going to be so pretty. And half the time I drop this right after I do it too, so feel free to laugh because I sure do. Alright, I do have the gator bite, which I like, but I usually use this on a little bit bigger bows, because if I'm doing like a 3-inch bow, it's too big and I end up losing the loops. But I like it better than the salon clips because it's got a stronger bite. Oh, sorry, I have a claw I have to ignore. But these are good for smaller bows. And I used to sell them. I don't sell them much at all anymore. I'm just getting to where I can't even push the needle through, and it hurts my hands. And you know what? It's not fun. I haven't had any problem with doing it. This is upholstery thread. I haven't had any problem with it coming undone as long as it's secured right. So, like, you know what? It's hard and it hurts my hands, so skip it. I got my own style, so. I really worry about things staying together because when I was first making bows, even for my daughters, I don't know how many of them fell apart because, you know, I didn't know any of the little tricks and stuff. Originally, I used to actually just buy solid colored bows and add to them because I couldn't even do that part. And then I learned how to make them, and they were sad. But thankfully, the girls were little and they loved them anyway. Okay. I just wrap them and tie them a couple of times and then pull it tight and it kind of pulls the bow out. I am out of spray starch, which is what I forgot to get at Walmart, which I usually will starch it and let it dry before I do anything else. But I guess that worked out because we don't really have time for that with this video anyway. But usually I'm making 3 or 4 bows at a time and not just one, so I'll do this step and go and do this step on another one and go and do this step on another one, and it has time to dry until I come back to it. It's a little bit different going from top to bottom on just one bow. It's not as efficient either, but it's more confusing to do that, I think. It's still holding the string. Okay. I'm just making it as tight as possible. This thread does not break. And depending on what type of bow I would make, sometimes I would really work with the loops and change them around a little bit more. But for this bow, it's not going to have the loops around it and stuff. So as long as the bow looks pretty around the bottle cap, that's really all that matters to me. So, which it's going to be gorgeous. Alright. If I was going to put it on a clip, I wouldn't cut the string. But I'm gluing this on top of the spikes, so I will go ahead and cut it. But I don't throw it away because these shorter strings are perfect for making tulle puffs. I'm sorry I dropped the bow. Did I mention I was a Butterfingers? Alright, and after this video, I have got to finish getting stuff ready for Christmas. The tree's up, and I don't have packages wrapped yet. They're still in the boxes from FedEx, so, yeah. But this is probably my last bow of the holidays, so. And it's a Valentine's Day bow. But I'm trying to make, I think we will go with the pink. I wasn't sure if I wanted pink or black. This is 7/8 ribbon. This is from Hair Bow Center. Oh, so is the black and white polka dot one. The Kisses and Hugs one is from Trendy Owl on Etsy. The buttons is also from Trendy Owl on Etsy. And the backing, what do you call it, bottle cap, is from Samantha Treasure on Etsy. I'll mention all those in the comments. Alright. I'll just put it out of glue. Oh no. You know what? I have my stuff on a power strip, and the power strip is apparently turned off. So, excuse me a second. We have to heat this back up. I'm sorry, y'all. I thought I had this more organized than this today. Alright, I just got the glue gun plugged in, and while it's heating up, we're going to go ahead and work on spikes. This one I had put the leopard just because it had a zebra, and I was trying to make something different with it, because the zebra ribbon I had was 5/8 instead of 7/8, so I couldn't line it with that, which would have worked too, but I figured it was still wild and crazy. And I have cats, so I have to keep all the tulle and the feathers in Tupperware, or they become cat toys. Okay, I think we're going to do one of these. Again, since they're all different, it's kind of a design process, but basically, I don't really measure these, I just kind of look at where I want it to end based on my final bow. And then I measure them all off of that, but I will let you know what this is in just a second, just because not everybody does it that way. Alright, this is about 4.5 inches, almost a little more than that. So I'm going to do one of these. I like this heart ribbon. I don't know if I'll use it, but since it goes up and down instead of sideways, I've had a hard time actually using it. So if it's long enough, which it is, I think I'm going to use it on the top part of the spikes. When I'm making a full circle of spikes, I've found it's easier to, instead of trying to tie it all together with the bow, I kind of make it its own little platform. And it makes the perfect circle fast and easy without all the stress. So, hey, that may not be very professional, but I never claim to be a professional. Alright, I think we're going to do that. And then sometimes I'll use a 1.5 inch for the very first spike across, because it fills in a lot of space. I'm going to do that this time, just so I can have, sort of continue the pattern of the black and white and the X's and O's. Sometimes I put one on the top part too, like across, but it just helps save you a little bit of ribbon, because you can use one of those instead of 2 or 3 of the smaller ones. Especially with this case, because I'm using 5/8 ribbon too, which is smaller. If it was all 7/8, then I could probably skip that part if I wanted to. But it's not. So, I'm going to do zebra next, because it's just fun. And there's not zebra on the bottle cap, but there's zebra on the X's and O's pattern. And I usually cut them all out, and then I'll go through and do the ends and put it together. I usually work on a couple of these at a time, so I'll just cut a whole bunch of them and pick what I want at random. This is a little bit different. I haven't decided if I'm going to use this one. Has an arrow. It's kind of on tiny. Yeah, on this one. This one is a hot pink glitter. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of do with it as I do it and see what I like. Alright. Anyway. That's going to go on the very top. Just kind of think what I like here. And it's pink. So I am going to do this pink polka dot one next, which apparently I haven't used yet. I bought black and white and red and pink and whatever I could think of, solids and polka dots, because I was starting Valentine's stuff. And yes, it's early, you can see from my Christmas tree that Christmas is only a couple of days away, but I'm trying to work ahead so I can have my store ready instead of trying to with holiday bows, because I got so busy. I think I only made like 4 Thanksgiving bows because it was so close to the other holidays. I had to start Christmas. I didn't even have time. I just made a few for some people that I know. And I don't want to be in a bind where I don't have time to make stuff. And plus, it makes it stressful and not fun when you have to have a deadline to do it. So this way, if I want to make 3 or 4 of them, fine. If I want to make 1, fine. I've got plenty of time. It's no big hurry. And that's just the way I like it. So, I like that. Okay, next I think... I might do those arrows because it's got a lot of black. I didn't open this yet, apparently, either. Sorry, y'all. I thought I was a little more organized, but you know what? It's early Saturday morning. I haven't had my coffee yet. My voice hasn't even woke up, so we're lucky I have it together as much as I do. Usually I have music going, so it's a little different to just sit here and talk. Or if my kids are up there watching something on TV. But I think... Anyway, I just got this tripod yesterday because I got tired of trying to figure out how to do this. So hopefully this works better for doing videos. If it does, I will do a lot more of them. So it's been hard to have my daughter home, and it's really hard trying to prop it up or whatever. So, alright, I think we're going to do the leopard, and then we're going to do this pink, I think. We'll see in a second if that works. It works in my head, but that's the thing with these, because I don't really have a set plan. I just get everything I have that works with the colors of whatever theme I'm working on, and some things that might go, and I just kind of grab what I need. It's a creative process. It's not an exact art for me. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. And then we need the hot pink one. And then we can get all these ribbons out of the way and actually get to work. Okay, this one I'm going to use another 7/8 or 1.5 inch ribbon. I don't use a whole lot of these, but I thought it was appropriate. Okay, get all this ribbon out of the way. So we're done with it. Unless I decide to put a surrounded bow. We might need those, but I don't think so. So I'm more worried about the over the top part, but we'll see. If it looks like it needs it, then it needs it. Okay. And my glue gun is dripping, so it's obviously ready. Perfect timing. Alright. I'm always really messy with the glue. So, I try to just put a dot, but it doesn't always work. And I've seen people have exact measurements for these, what do you call it? To wrap around. But I don't. I said I'm a Butterfingers, and it's not a real exact thing about how fat these are, and also because I like to wrap it around a couple of times for some extra security since I don't sew them. And it may not be necessary. If I was making it just for my daughter, in fact, because it's not going to show, I might have just left the thread on there. But if I'm making it to sell it, I don't want to have any chance of the thread wasn't tied right or whatever and have it fall apart on somebody, because that's just terrible. Especially if you charge. So, alright. I got this upside down. Oh, because I was gluing it. Okay. I knew that. Alright. I love this though. It's going to be pretty. Alright. I will usually go ahead and put the bottle cap on it. And if I'm going to do side bows, I'll go ahead and do that at this stage. If I'm going to do surrounded bows, I'll go ahead and do that. But sometimes I haven't decided what I'm going to put on it. On this one, I just put some hearts on it. I didn't really do a surrounded bow or anything. I'm not decided, so I'm going to wait on that until I'm going to finish the spikes. I'll just do the V-cut, fold it in half and cut it. And then I heat sew them all at once. And then I'm going to start gluing it. So it's assembly line as much as possible. So the creative part isn't, but normally I'll sit here and have a video on just cut and cut and cut and cut, and then I'll go through and I'll have the pieces to work with. But I have been making some request bows, so I really didn't have a stash sitting here for this because I already used everything I almost everything I had cut for Valentine's Day's bows I made recently. But I love pink, so this is actually one of my favorite ones because it's pink. I'm kind of excited. This is, when I made bows for my kids, but this is my first year actually making them to sell. I made some for Christmas presents for some little girls that I know last year for Christmas, and I ended up making some more for them because they loved them so much. I just ended up making some for like Valentine's Day and this and that. And that's kind of where this business started. So I got to the point where I thought I was flooding my Facebook page too much. So I went ahead and made a business page so that I could post bows, and a couple of relatives that were interested could see them, but I didn't have to have 20 pictures of bows on my page because they're all different. So when I get done, it's like I get all excited. So that way I was sharing with people that were interested, and the other page is not about my kids. So I hardly ever post anything about me. It's all about my kids. And that way relatives that live far away can see them and stuff. So, but yeah. Still in my pajamas. That's the only way to do this because I don't know about anybody else, but I end up with glitter and feathers and glue and string and whatever all over the table, all over the floor, all over me. So then I can go take a shower and put these clothes in the laundry and it's all fine again because I'll be wearing glitter all day long. And still sometimes I am if I get it in my hair or something. It's kind of funny. People come up to me, what were you doing? I just cut glitter tulle and the glitter was all over me. I really love the glittery tulle. I like the other tulle too, but for doing like adding to the bows, because it's sparkling, it just adds a little bit of extra, but also because it's stiffer, because it's already, I guess whatever they use to put the glitter attached to it, it makes it a stiffer tulle, so it makes it super easy to work with. You don't have to starch it, you don't have to, it's tight and go. Alright. Put my scissors off, I'm going to heat seal these, and then we're going to go. I'm going to do as quickly as possible. I have a couple of other things I use to heat seal at different times, but this 1.5 ribbon always, I think because I don't work with it a lot, I swear that I have to check it and check it and check it because I'll think I have it heat sealed and I don't. Or I don't have it all the way across. I think it's because I'm used to working with a smaller ribbon. And then even the 3-inch ribbon, I don't do, you start doing cheer doughs and JoJo bows. I just don't use 1.5 for much of anything unless I've got a special request. Or like this, I'll use a little bit on the spikes. Because mainly the bows are for big girls like my daughters, and they're to the JoJo bows and the cheer bows type thing. Now for babies. So then you need small ribbon, smaller bows. So it just doesn't, there's not a lot of call for those, at least as far as my requests go. But anyway, I'm kind of excited because making these Valentine's Day ones and the Christmas bows, so I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm a year old now, hey. It's funny because this is just very creative and I really love making them. It's a lot of people, it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time, but I really love it. It's very relaxing. If I've had a bad day, I'll sit here and make a bow and I feel like, I don't know, it's something I accomplished something, it's something I can control. There's something very relaxing about the creative process and then the satisfaction at the end, and it seems like when I can't sleep, I've had a bad day. It's just something I really like. So I kind of got this one a little crooked. I may not use that one. We'll see. Let's see. I'm just doing these again because this slider is starting to go, so I feel like it's not, the flame's not where it usually is, so I'm not feeling very confident that I got it. So if you're better at this than me, you can probably get this all done in a few seconds. But I don't have to sleep. I don't trust myself right now. Okay, for the bottom of it, it just depends on how big the bow it is and how heavy it is. But this is almost a 5-inch bow, so it's not a little tiny bow. So I like to put felt on the bottom. It gives it stability. I'm trying to see, I think black, because this pink isn't the right color black. It doesn't matter a whole lot. It doesn't show a whole lot. It's just one of those my personal pet peeve things. And I'll just trace a spool. That one's not big enough. I'll just trace a spool to get the circle. It doesn't have to be real exact, but I do try because of my pride, I guess. I like them to look nice on the back, even if they don't have to. And I know I don't sew and don't do a lot of the professional trades, I guess, so I really like to make this as good as I can. If I was going to put it on a headband, I would cut out 2 of these, and I'll sandwich it together. Let me get one. I'm not doing this one on a headband, but it's the same principle. You just put one underneath it and glue it down, and put the other one with the bow on top of it and smash it together. And I like to do it right on this part. So this is really soft, and it's a lot nicer on a baby's head than that crease anyway. But it just helps secure everything together without like bunching the thing up and tying it all together. Which I've done that too, but you know, that's just how I've been doing it. If I wasn't sure what I was going to do, I would just go ahead and glue it on this. And I actually probably will do that this time because I'm not sure what kind of clip they want. Yeah, but if I was sure, I would go ahead and cut it. I don't think I have one ready. Anyway, I'll cut little holes and slide the clip through there so that when you glue that on there, you're actually gluing the clip on it too. And it just adds some extra security. If it's not a real heavy bow, I don't mind gluing it straight onto the felt. But if it's a bigger bow or a heavier bow, I try to have an extra hold for the clip just so it doesn't fall off and it doesn't move, flop around in the head. That's another thing I hate. And I've made some bows that do that. It's a learning process. I just like doing this, so I've learned this stuff in. Alright, we are starting with black. It just depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes I glue it straight to the felt, and sometimes I glue it to each other, which is what I'm going to do this time. Those will do them at the end. No, actually, I'm going to switch this because this is so, this is a little more white. So I don't want the black and white, the black and white. Okay. You want them to be touching, almost touching. If you're more talented than me and not as klutzy as I am, you can probably do this with a lot less glue. And I usually use my low temperature glue gun for this so I don't burn myself. And it also gives you a little bit of a chance to reposition in time to deal with it. But I forgot to turn it off. So my low temperature glue gun is kind of shot, and I forgot to buy another one. So this one I keep burning myself, so if you hear me hollering, that's why, because I'm kind of used to the other one. Okay, pink. Sorry if y'all can't see this. Because I'm not the most professional videographer either. That's the word, right? I'm just trying to show a way to do this. I think this way is actually best for beginners and stuff because it has a lot more margin for error. Oh, I think. You know what? I think I want to skip that. I'd rather have the zebra. This string's a lot more. It's already coming out when I take it over there, unlike the low temperature one. It's another reason I like to use that for this. It's going to be a little messier bow than I prefer. Alright, let's do the zebras. I have Christmas songs in my head. I've been playing them. I was playing them earlier this morning. And I'll probably play them the rest of the day as I clean the house. So, I'm used to having sound, so it's quiet, so I'll just randomly start singing. Even though I'm already talking to myself, it's not that quiet in here. Just one of those things. Habits. I used to work in the drive-thru, and I was back there by myself in the window taking orders and taking money. So anytime I didn't have a customer at the window and I wasn't taking an order, I'd be back there singing. And people would be like, "Why are you always in such a good mood?" And I'm like, "I'm just singing." I want to put this on the bottom because it just overpowers the zebras and this 2-inch pink. I'm going to put this on the bottom. So it's kind of there's not an exact science to this because everyone's different. But the more of them you make the same, you won't have so much of this guesswork and repositioning and stuff because you're making the same thing. Which I understand is time and cost effective, but there's nothing creative about that. And I'm wanting to be creative. That's my thing. Okay. Anyway, I'll come back and touch up, filling in glue anywhere I feel like it's gonna flop or move and I feel like it needs a dot of glue. But I don't know because this hot glue gun I'm burning myself. I usually don't have this much glue on it. So it's just kind of messy and it's not really what it usually looks like. So today, okay. She talks to herself and she sings at random times. Yeah, y'all just learning all my bad habits. And I don't even know you. Wow. Alright. Just picking off the glue strings. See it anywhere that needs to be tacked down again. It's a little bit floppy, but if it needs more, I'll do it at the end at this point. Okay. And actually, I don't know if I'm putting this one on a headband or clips. I'm going to go ahead and put it on one of these ribbon-lined alligator clips. Because I'm not sure yet what I'm doing with it. Okay. I'll just put glue on a big old circle. And I'm probably going to burn myself because I don't have my low temperature glue gun. Because even though it's felt, it will come through here a little bit. So just try to smooth it out. And then if you have to go back and glue a little bit more, that's better. Because if you get it too close to the edge, it's all going to ooze around it. And I'm not going to say I never do that because I'd be lying. But I try to make it look pretty because that's part of the point of this. But it also adds some... it adds some stability to the spikes. What was I trying to say? I'm sorry, y'all, I need more coffee. Maybe some cold pills or something, because my voice is terrible. Oh, it makes it a little more secure to glue the clip to than just gluing it to the ribbon. That's what I was trying to say. Because it's that felt, I mean, you can rip it off of there, but it's going to take some effort. It's not just going to randomly drop off of there because it wasn't glued securely or something. Which I've had. When I made my own girls' bows, I wasn't that worried about it. Because I could fix it, you know, if I made a mistake. I had more ribbon, I could make another one. I could fix it. But we're trying to give them to people, and especially with trying to sell them, I'm a lot more concerned, probably a little bit too much concerned about stability, about things being secured, because I don't want to have a faulty product, because I'm not there to fix it, you know. And then the other thing is, I want it to look pretty, especially with charging people. I don't want to be like, here, I didn't even bother to clean the glue strings off. glue strings off, but here, it's for you, and I'm going to charge you. Okay, I'm just going to double check the ends of these and glue. I got a lot of glue on this because that hot temperature glue guns, just, it's hard to work with that everywhere. It's good for certain parts of making bows, and that's why I have it. You need an instant bond, but for having your hands in it like that when you're going to burn yourself, it's not ideal. Okay, I'm getting hot, even though it's December. I'm ready for a tank top. Oh, I didn't put these on. Alright, this one's going like this. So I don't know. Yeah, I need to fix that one now. But I do like it. It just makes it a little bit special. So, I mean, this is creative for me. So, I do make sometimes 2 or 3 bows almost the same if I make them at the same time. But it's honestly really hard. Like, even doing pigtail bows, I feel like it's a chore to me to make them exactly the same. There's nothing creative about it. It's honestly a chore. It's a very, very difficult for me to do. Because I just kind of make whatever I feel like making. But I know that's not the most time and cost effective way. But this is a creative outlet for me. So I am being creative. Which is another reason I don't like to make, if somebody sends me a picture or something, I don't want to make the exact same bow even if I can, because that's their creative work, not mine. But honestly, even when I try, it's very difficult for me because it's just like cooking. I can have a recipe, but I'm making it as I go. Alright, let me see what we're going to put on this. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. Usually like this, I'll just try to decide if it needs more of a certain color. Definitely doesn't need any more pink. Does it need more black? That's when I'll decide about the surrounded bows. I'm not putting them on. But if I was, it would have the same measurement. We made the center bow 24 inches. So you would do 24 inches. I usually do 7/8 ribbon for that. And then cut it in half. And that's your two surrounded bows. So I'm not making one, but I'll cut them in half and then fold it in half and put this on the center. And then just wrap it around like this. Because that helps me hold on to the center and keep the proper spacing in between them. These are huge because it's not measured. But that's just, for me, that's the fastest and easiest way to do those. And then I'll glue them on underneath on either side of the center and then glue it onto here. But I'm not putting any on because this is going to be an over top bow. It doesn't need the, if I wasn't going to put anything over the top, I would probably do that. Actually, you know what? It does need some, I think I do want to put some tulle on it though. Oh no, because I'm making it over the top. But if I was going to make tulle, I would go ahead and put that in between here. But I think this one has enough patterns and it's already a little bit busy. Because it has so many patterns. So I'll just glue it and press it down real good. Okay. And then that also kind of shapes the bow. If it wasn't already starched like this one. And then at this point I could go ahead and starch it. If I was putting side bows on it, I would be trying to smash it up, fluff it up more. I don't know if I'm going to or not. Where's my bow? I know I'm not making any because I made a lot of bows already this week, and my fingers are not there. I do have these little small ones, though, I could do. But it's the wrong color pink. So I think we will skip that. Alright, I thought I had more. Okay, this one I did do the tulle on the top. And I did a feather poof. And I did a heart. And I thought I had some more of these hearts, but apparently I used them all. So the only one I have left is this one, which I didn't use on something else. And it already has the feathers. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. Because, you know what? I might. It's not bad. But, I cut about 1.5 inches off the feathers. This is not the same color, but it's just the ostrich feathers. I cut about 1.5 inches of it off. And I glued it. I put some glue on the back of the heart. I put the feathers on it. And then I put a piece of felt on it to kind of sandwich it together. Because you burn yourself messing with these feathers really bad. And then I will glue this onto the whatever. But once it's on the spikes, all the stuff in the back won't show. It doesn't show much anyway because it's the same color. Once it's on the spikes, nobody's going to know that's there anyway. But it just helps make it secure and glue it together. And it also kind of pushes it forward a little bit more. Alright, I think since I have that, I'm going to use it. So I'm going to skip this tulle part back here. The other tulle, I'll show you how I did that. I just had a felt pad. And I put a glue, where's the clippy? I'll take the feathers, and feathers go everywhere. So I usually try to pre-make those so they're not everywhere. I'll just glue it and then clip it until it dries so I don't burn myself. And then wrap it around, figure out where I want it, cut it, and glue the other part. Like I said, it's not an assembly line, so I'll make a couple of those at a time. But, I still may do, well, I have this one, so I don't think I'll make one this time. Because I still have that one. This already has feathers. I mean, I sometimes will do 2 different feathers, but I kind of want it to have something different. So I might do a flower or something up there. Let's see. Or another bow. It's purple, not pink. This one's pink. It's the wrong color pink. Alright, I think flowers is going to be our best bet. We've already got a pink and a light pink. We kind of need... There's a gray, white, no red, just white. I think that might be it. Different colors of pink. We already got a couple of different colors of pink. I want something different to put up there. We could put a unicorn up there. Ha ha ha. Alright, I think we're going to do this on this one. But, I will do a little bit of tulle because these feathers are really going to stick out a lot. So there's a lot on this side and then nothing on this side. So that will at least give me the option to show you how I did it. So that's not a bad thing anyway. Alright. Tulle. We're going to do I have black? I've got silver and white. It looks like I'm out of black. I don't think there's going to be much difference with that on that bow. I guess we might as well make it pink because none of those colors are going to show up very much. I don't really measure this. I just usually kind of eyeball it, but you want basically about a little bit wider than your bow. If you want, this is a 6-inch wide tulle ribbon from Hobby Lobby. They have 3 inches, and if you're making smaller bows, that works because I would cut this in half. But this is not a small bow. Okay, and one of those pieces is leftover string. It's just perfect for tying this together. Okay, I'll just fold them in half and just kind of do your fan fold. And for this type of, if it was going to go in the center, then I really try to get it exactly in the center so that it'll cover the bow. I'll just drop the string. It's a good thing I have another one over there so I don't see it. But for going on the top or whatever, it's going to kind of get folded. So actually, it's more interesting to have different sizes, and it adds some dimension. So it really doesn't matter where you tie it a whole lot. And off center actually works better for this over the top part, I think. Add some dimension and some interest to it. And tulle is really cheap for over the top because it's like $1 or something when you get it on sale for the whole roll. And I mean, I don't think I bought but just a couple of those this year. You can keep them and use it for a long time. Okay, I just tighten a knot and cut it off. So I cut my own felt a lot because it's cheaper. I do use these pre-done ones because they're thinner for certain things, or when you're stacking a whole lot of things in one space. These are thinner than the regular felt and they're stiffer. But for this, I would trace the felt and cut it out. But I've already got a piece, so I'm not going to do it again. And then just cut it in half. That way it's the same color as the back thing. And if I figured out what I was going to do before I glued that on, I could even glue it underneath that for some added security. But the tulle's not heavy like feathers or anything anyway. I'm sorry, I'm sleepy. Okay, so I think we're going to just have to put this one on first because that's kind of our centerpiece of the over the top part. Anyway, you really can't do anything wrong with over the top. You can add bows, you can add feathers, you can add felt pads, tulle, just about anything. It's just a matter of how much you want up there and how much money you want to put into the bow, because it can be expensive. This one, I think the hearts are $1. There's just a little bit of the feathers, but the feathers are like $4 for a roll that doesn't have a whole lot on it. So they're a little bit expensive, but you're only using a very small piece at a time, so you can make quite a few bows out of that. I've got glue on my fingers. I'm sorry, I burned myself with those stupid feathers. But this is a curly ostrich feathers, so it's kind of longer and it just sticks out everywhere and it's kind of fun. Or this one is it's just a boa, but it's like it's this. It's not as long. It just depends on what you're doing, what you want. So these kinds I'll sometimes put in the bottle cap. Depends on the bow, you know. Or put like underneath the bow to stick out a little bit, and just different things. I'll usually put these on the over the top because for the over the top I kind of make more of a teardrop shape. I have this, so I might. I just wanted to look at what it looks like because there's a lot of pink on this bow, and I'm still debating about putting some of that. You know what, I'm going to cut a little piece because I just can't decide. This gets messy, so I try to cut this away from my workstation. Alright. You don't have to heat seal this or anything, but I do recommend gluing it to felt because you'll burn yourself. So, just kind of shake off the extra pieces. It just gets everywhere. Alright, for this bow, since it's like this, I would want it to go smaller and skinnier and kind of wrap around like that. So, I have to decide if I'm putting it on there first. Sorry, hold on a second. So I have this. Yeah, you kind of need something right here and here. So I think since I'm just gluing it like that, I actually won't do the felt pad. I'll just put some glue and shove it down in there and try not to get my finger in the way. Because I just kind of want it for a little bit of a filler on this bow. And some more black. I usually use a different glue gun for this also because the feathers tend to stick to everything they touch really bad. So, and I dropped it. Okay, so I'm pushing this back behind the bow so I don't burn myself. And I kind of will stick it under the heart because I want the heart to show. Alright. So that's not a real big part of this. It's just adding a little bit of black to it. So there's no right or wrong. You can add as much as you want, and it's really creative, and that's why I like it. Okay, I like that. So far, see, that's pretty too. But I can't leave well enough alone. It's my nature. So I need the tulle. I will put a dot of glue in it. And depending on the mood I'm in, I'll twist them or put them. So this one I'm going to twist a little bit. Try not to burn myself as I stick it together, which I just did. This is where I miss my low temperature glue gun. Because I don't burn myself half as much in some of these pieces like this. Okay. I'll put some glue on this. And the low temperature glue gun is also good for that because I can glue this on there and then I can stop and look at it and move it around a little bit before I have to glue it onto the thing. But this will dry, so I'm going to have to be pretty sure about what I'm doing with it. Okay, and this is going to go on the back. And I'll just kind of look at where I want it to sit. If I need it to go down a little bit more. Ooh, I just burned myself so bad. I might have to go to the bathroom for that one. Alright. Anyway, it just adds that kind of to it. And it helps highlight it a little bit. This one is all sticking up like that. So it's going to have a lot at the top. So I think it's going to need more than... I was going to put this one on there, but I think it's going to need a bigger clip or a headband. Because it's going to kind of have a lot at the top if I actually put the clip in the center. Which is another thing that's good about the tulle is it's not heavy. It just takes up this space. No, I forgot to put my bottle cap on. Okay, bottle cap, I will put the epoxy in the middle because you don't want it to come off. And it has the felt, so it shouldn't come off. I apparently forgot to close these. I was working until midnight last night, so I said I want to get ahead on the next holiday, so I'm not trying to do this stuff. So it's too much. Alright, apparently I forgot to put my lid up back on those. I just went to bed when I was done. Okay. So I put a big dot of glue in the middle. And then I'll put hot glue on either side. Just for an instant. Hot glue glues it instantly. But the epoxy has a more solider seal, so people can't pull the bottle cap off. And I've had that with these where the cat ran off with it because of the feathers, and the bow got destroyed, and it's terrible to try to pull these back off. It's really, really hard. But that's really good if you had it for like a baby, you know, because that is small and round. You don't want a baby to choke. I'm out of starch, so I'm not going to be able to starch this one. But if you were going to starch it, you need to do it before the feathers. You don't want to starch the feathers. I learned that one the hard way. Okay, and this one has a little bit of an off-center. Didn't cut it quite smooth, so I'll just kind of trim it up and heat seal it and whatever it needs. I think we're going to do this one on the headband. I don't know. I'll have to figure that part out. But anyway, that's how I do that over the top. Thank you for watching. Sorry I talked way too much this time. Merry Christmas.